You don't need a fat wallet to have a fabulous garden. You just need fresh eyes, and maybe an old ladder, a chipped teacup, or that rusty rake you almost tossed last spring. Welcome to Timeless Garden, where we believe charm should be cheap, and creativity, unlimited. If you've ever looked at a pile of junk and thought, there's got to be a better use for that, you're going to love what's coming. Today we're diving into 30+ clever, quirky, and delightfully doable ways to decorate your outdoor space, without spending more than a few dollars, if anything at all. And let me tell you, these aren't your average turn a mason jar into a planter ideas. We're going deeper, think smarter. We're talking about repurposing with purpose, adding beauty and function to your garden, using things you already own or can find for free. So before we dig in, tap that like button if you love turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. Subscribe if budget-friendly brilliance is your style. And as we go along, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me what's the oddest thing you've ever used in your garden. I just know you've got a story worth sharing. Hack 1. Turn a broken chair into a bloom throne. That old wooden chair with the missing seat. Don't trash it. Transform it. Place it in a cozy corner of your garden. Remove any remaining seat bits and nestle a flower pot right into the empty frame. Suddenly, it's not junk. It's a royal perch for your plants. Add trailing flowers like petunias or sweet potato vine, and let them spill over like a floral waterfall. It's charming, it's unexpected, and it instantly turns a forgotten piece into a whimsical garden feature. The kind guests can't help but ask about. Have you ever used furniture in your garden? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear what you did with it. Hack 2. Tin can Winchimes But Make them art. Everyone uses tin cans as planters, but here's a twist that sounds better. Literally. Gather a few empty tin cans in different sizes. Clean them up, then paint them in bold garden colors. Think mustard yellow, forest green, or soft lavender. Now instead of planting in them, poke a hole in each can's base, and string them up with twine or fishing line. Hang them from a tree branch, a shepherd's hook, or even your porch beam, and drop a pebble, small bell, or old key inside, for gentle tinkling when the wind rolls through. It's not just decor, it's a touch of music in the breeze. Soft, recycled, and totally charming. Hack 3. The rake that organizes. Not rakes before you toss that rusty old rake head. Take a closer look. It's actually the perfect garden tool hanger. Remove the wooden handle, flip the metal rake head upside down, and mount it onto a wall, fence, or inside your shed. Suddenly, those curved tines become handy hooks. You can hang trowels, gloves, small pots, scissors, even dried herbs or garlic braids. If you're feeling a little farmhouse fancy, it gives off rustic vibes and keeps your tools from disappearing into the garden abyss. Hack 4. Stacked drawer planter tower. Before you drag that old wobbly dresser to the curb, grab the drawers. They're about to become the quirkiest vertical garden on the block. Take 3 to 4 drawers, mismatched is even better, and stack them in a slightly staggered zigzag pattern. Fill each one with soil and your favorite blooms, herbs, or trailing plants. You can place the tower directly on the ground, or raise it up on bricks for extra height. Leave the knobs on, let vines drape around them, or paint each drawer a different garden-inspired color. Sage green, terracotta, sunflower yellow. It's functional, fun, and gives your plants a home with a whole lot of character. Hack 5. Mirror. In the garden, yes, a mirror, but not just for checking your hat before you garden. Find an old mirror, maybe from your attic, a yard sale, or even the back of your closet. Clean it up, seal it with a waterproof spray to protect it from the weather, and hang it on a fence, shed wall, or lean it behind some potted plants. The result? It reflects sunlight, makes small gardens look twice as big, and adds this mysterious secret garden feel, like your flowers are blooming in another dimension. It's unexpected, it's enchanting, and it turns any ordinary corner into a dreamy focal point. Hack 6. Teacup bird feeder and bee stop. Got a chipped teacup and saucer you never use anymore? Don't toss it. Give it a second life, feeding your feathered friends and helping thirsty bees. Here's what you do. Use strong outdoor adhesive to glue the teacup to its saucer, either standing upright or tipped sideways for style. Then glue the saucer to the top of a wooden post, stump, or even an old lamp base stuck in the soil. Fill the cup with birdseed, or a little water, and just like that, you've created a whimsical garden cafe for nature's guests. It's dainty, unexpected, and brings a vintage charm that no plastic feeder ever could. Hack 7. Ladder of Life. Vertical Garden Edition. That old wooden ladder in the shed. It's not just for reaching gutters, it's about to become a plant display, with personality. Stand it upright against a wall or fence, or lean it slightly in a sunny corner. Then, start layering. Hang small pots from the rungs, place planter boxes on the steps, even drape fairy lights or trailing ivy around the sides. It's vertical gardening, without the complicated hardware, and it adds height, texture and story to your garden space. Bonus, paint it a bold color like cobalt blue or garden green to make it pop even more. Hack 8. Colander Hanging Basket. Got an old metal colander with a few dents? Good. That's drainage already built in. Line the inside with a bit of moss or burlap. Fill it with soil, and plant your favorite trailing flowers or herbs. Then, simply thread 3 sturdy chains or ropes through the handles, and hang it like a regular basket from a hook, tree branch or pergola beam. Not only is it functional, because colanders naturally drain excess water, it gives your garden that charming, upcycled feel that's both clever and cute. If you have a brightly colored colander, don't repaint it. Let it shine. Hack 9. Shutter side table, or plant shelf. Old window shutters lying around. Don't dump them, flip them. Literally take a solid old shutter, lay it flat across 2 sturdy planters, tree stumps or stacks of bricks, and boom, you've got a charming rustic table. Perfect for displaying potted plants, lanterns, or even setting down your iced tea while you admire your handiwork. Want a vertical option? Stand the shutter upright, lean it against a wall, and use small hooks or clips to hang lightweight pots, dried herbs or garden tools. It's one of those junk-turned-gem pieces that looks like it came straight out of a boutique garden magazine. But it didn't cost you a dime. Hack 10. Boots full of blooms. Worn-out rain boots or garden shoes. Don't throw them out, plant them up. Poke a few drainage holes in the soles, fill them with potting soil, and plant something fun. Maybe bright marigolds, quirky succulents, or even trailing lobelia. Line them up on your porch steps, hang them from a fence, or group them at the base of a tree for a playful lived-in look. Each pair tells a story, maybe yours, or maybe the garden's, and yes, the more scuffed they are, the better the charm. Hack 11. Umbrella frame plant canopy. Got a broken patio umbrella that's lost its fabric, but still has a decent frame? Don't bin it, plant around it. Stick the frame into the ground like you would a garden trellis, and let climbing plants like morning glories, sweet peas, or even cherry tomatoes take over. As the vines grow up and around the spokes, you'll get this gorgeous natural canopy that looks like a living parasol. It's unexpected, slightly whimsical, and super effective at adding a soft shady spot wherever you need one. No new hardware required. Hack 12. Picture frame garden windows. Old picture frames collecting dust. Time to bring them outside for a whole new role. Remove the glass and backing. You just need the frame itself. Then mount it on a garden wall, a fence, or even hang it from a tree with fishing line or twine. What you get is a window to your garden. A visual frame that makes your flowers, vines, or even sky look like living art. For extra charm, try clustering a few frames of different sizes together for a gallery wall effect, but with nature as the artist. It's free, it's poetic, and it gives your space a thoughtful, curated feel. Would you leave the frames rustic or paint them to match your garden colors? Let me know how you'd style yours. Hack 13. Toolbox turned herb bar. That old metal or wooden toolbox collecting cobwebs. It's about to become your new favorite herb station. Clean it out, drill a few drainage holes in the bottom, and fill it with good potting soil. Plant herbs like basil, mint, thyme, or even lavender. Thanks to the handle, it's easy to carry around, set on a table, or move into sunny spots throughout the day. Bonus, label each section with handwritten tags, or paint the toolbox with chalkboard paint, so you can write and rewrite herb names or fun messages. It's rugged, compact, and oozes that lived-in garden charm. You're making this garden journey a joy. Here comes your next hack, and it's pure, playful nostalgia with a twist. Hack 14. Bicycle planter display. That old bike in the garage, with the flat tires and rusty chain. Don't fix it, plant it. Lean it against a tree, fence or wall, and place baskets or buckets on the front and rear racks, filled with flowers, trailing vines, or even succulents. Wrap some ivy or fairy lights around the frame, and suddenly it's not just a bike, it's a garden time capsule. Whether it's bright and whimsical or faded and romantic, it creates a sense of movement and story, like the plants are going for a gentle ride through the seasons. Love it. You've got such great garden momentum. Let's coast right into the next one. And this one's delightfully simple but makes a big impression. Hack 15. Cinder block art wall. Have a few leftover cinder lying around. Stack them, but with purpose. Create a low wall or tower, alternating the direction of the blocks, so some of the holes face outward. In those open spaces, plant small succulents, colorful annuals, or even tuck in candles or solar lights for evening glow. Want to make it pop? Paint each block a different pastel or earthy tone for a modern art meets garden vibe, or stencil in patterns for a mosaic look. It's modular, movable, and super affordable, and it adds that geometric flair that's clean but still full of life. Hack 16. Garden grater, lantern. You read that right, a cheese grater, but not for the kitchen anymore. Grab an old metal box grater, the kind with 4 sides, and different hole sizes, and give it a good clean. If it's already a little rusty or worn, perfect. That gives it vintage charm. If not, you can always age it slightly with sandpaper, for that weathered look. Now here's where the magic happens. Place a battery-powered tea light, LED candle, or mini solar light inside the grater. As daylight fades, the light will shine through all those tiny holes, casting a beautiful dotted glow on nearby surfaces, like starlight in miniature. This little lantern creates such a cozy handcrafted vibe, perfect for evening garden hangs, or a quiet night on the patio. So what's your take? Would you go rustic and raw, or give it a pop of color and flair? Tell me how yours would look in the comments. Hack 17. Hanging spoons that dance in the wind. Old mismatched spoons tucked away in your kitchen drawer, or picked up at a thrift store, can become one of the most enchanting little features in your garden. Take a handful of them, bent, tarnished, even a little dented is fine, and suspend them from a sturdy tree branch, a wooden beam, or a metal rod using clear fishing line or twine. When the wind blows, they clink gently like wind chimes, but with a soft silvery sound that's more delicate than noisy. The movement catches the eye, the sound soothes the soul, and the reflection of sunlight on the metal gives a little sparkle to even the shadiest corner. You can hang them at different heights to create a layered look, or cluster them in groups near a garden bench, or reading nook for a dreamy, almost storybook feel. It's one of those simple touches that feels like it's always been there, as if the garden decided to decorate itself. You're staying rooted. I love it. Let's dig into what we have next, and this one brings a touch of romance to your garden without costing a thing. Hack 18. Storybook stepping stones. Instead of buying pre-made stepping stones, create your own path using the pages of an old story, literally. Start by collecting large, flat stones or concrete pavers. Anything with a smooth surface will work. Then, take pages from an old book, a vintage map, sheet music, or even handwritten letters, and decoupage them onto the surface using outdoor Mod Podge or a waterproof sealant. Once dried and sealed properly, these stones become beautiful, personalized stepping stones that are both functional and full of meaning. You could create a winding path that tells a story as you walk, or place just 1 or 2 as surprise details, tucked into flower beds, or under a leafy arch. It's poetic, unexpected, and deeply personal. The kind of thing guests will stop and ask about every single time. Let's keep this creative garden trail going. Here comes your hack 19, and it's got both texture and history. Hack 19. Rusty tools as garden sculptures. Those worn-out garden tools you've had for years. The bent trowel, the rusted spade, the fork with one missing tine. Don't throw them out. Instead, give them a permanent place of honor in your garden by turning them into rustic sculptures. Gather a few old tools and arrange them into a simple standing display. You can bind them together with garden twine or wire, or mount them onto a wooden post or old fence board. Some folks shape them into flowers, sunbursts, or abstract shapes, but even left as is, they carry this sense of quiet dignity, as if the garden is tipping its hat to the tools that helped shape it. Place them near your potting bench, beside a climbing rose, or tucked under a tree where they can slowly weather even more. They won't just blend in, they'll become part of the story your garden tells. Hack 20. Empty frame trellis. Sometimes, less is more, and a simple empty wooden frame can become one of the most elegant vertical features in your garden. Find a large, sturdy frame, the kind you'd usually see around a painting or mirror. Remove any backing, clean it up, and stand it upright in your garden by attaching it to stakes or securing it to a wall or fence. Now plant a climber at the base. Think morning glories, sweet peas, or black-eyed Susan vine, and let the frame guide its upward journey. As the plant grows, the leaves and blooms will wind their way through the open space, turning the frame into a living portrait. From a distance, it looks like you framed a piece of the sky, or captured nature mid-movement, and it changes with the seasons. It's quiet, it's dramatic, and it might just become the most photographed spot in your entire garden. Would you paint your frame to match your flowers, or keep it natural and weathered? Tell me what you picture hanging in your garden gallery. You're building something truly special. Let's keep it blooming. And this one brings warmth, light, and a touch of magic. Hack 21. Mason jar campfire lights. You don't need a fire to add a flicker of magic to your evenings. All you need are a few old mason jars and a little creative glow. Take clean, empty mason jars, the more mismatched, the better, and place a small solar light, LED tea light, or even a string of fairy lights inside. Seal the lid if you're using battery-powered lights, or leave it open if the solar panel needs sunlight during the day. Then line them up along your garden path. Hang them from branches, or cluster them on a table like a little constellation in a jar. When night falls, these simple lights give your space that soft golden glow. Not too bright, not too flashy, just enough to feel like something special is happening. And here's the fun part. You can tint the jars using food coloring and Mod Podge if you want a gentle wash of color. Amber rose, ocean blue, whatever mood suits your garden. You've got vision, and your garden is becoming a masterpiece. Let's roll right into Hack 22, and this one adds a touch of playful mystery. Hack 22. Hidden key in a rock garden. Not all garden ideas are about flowers. Some are about cleverness. If you've got a small collection of smooth stones or a rock garden, here's a fun and functional twist. Turn one into a secret hiding spot. Take an old plastic container, something shallow, like the lid of a peanut butter jar, and glue a medium-sized rock to the top of it. Once dry, dig a little hollow in your garden bed, or under a bush, and bury the container with the rock visible, and the rest hidden. Inside, you can keep a spare garden shed key, a handwritten garden wish, or even a little note for a loved one to find. It's like your garden's keeping secrets, a tiny personal touch that no one sees, but you know it's there. It's not flashy, but it's fun, and it gives your space that extra layer of personality most gardens never think to include. You're cultivating more than just plants. You're building a garden full of stories. Let's keep going. This one brings a little theater to your flower beds. Hack 23. Curtain call for the garden. Old sheer curtains, lace panels, or even gauzy scarves can be transformed into dreamy garden drapes. No sewing required. Find a cozy corner of your garden, maybe an archway, pergola, or even 2 tall stakes, and gently hang the fabric so it flows in the breeze. You can tie it back with twine or ribbon, or let it hang loose and romantic. When sunlight filters through, it casts a soft glow, creating the feeling of stepping onto a stage or into a secret garden scene. It's delicate, it's dramatic, and it turns any ordinary sitting area into something out of a daydream. And the best part, most of these fabrics are just sitting in drawers or thrift stores, waiting to be rediscovered. Hack 24. Typewriter Planter, words in bloom. If you ever come across an old typewriter, maybe it no longer works, maybe it's gathering dust in the attic, don't pass it by. Bring it into the garden, and turn it into a one-of-a-kind conversation piece. Nestle the typewriter on a small table, stump or old suitcase, gently remove a few internal parts, if needed, and fill the main body with moss and soil. Plant delicate flowers, like alyssum, violas, or creeping thyme, letting them spill over the keys, like forgotten verses in a poem. If the ribbon is still intact, roll out a strip of paper, and write a garden quote, or message. As the breeze plays with it, it'll feel like the garden is telling a story of its own, line by line, petal by petal. It's nostalgic, unexpected, and quietly powerful. The kind of piece that invites guests to stop, smile, and maybe think a little deeper. What message would you leave on the typewriter? Something sweet, something funny, or maybe just a single word. I'd love to know what your garden would say. Hack 25. Garden xylophone, from old pipes. If you've got leftover metal or copper pipes, even broken curtain rods or wind chime parts, don't let them go to waste. Turn them into a homemade garden xylophone. That's part sculpture, part soundtrack. Cut the pipes into varying lengths. The longer the pipe, the deeper the tone, and hang them horizontally from a wooden frame, an old ladder, or even between two trees, using sturdy twine or wire. Leave a bit of space between each pipe, so they can move freely and chime gently when struck by a wooden stick or the occasional breeze. Set it up near a sitting area, or along a garden path, and you've got yourself a quiet little music station, a place where kids can play, guests can tinker, or you can just stop and enjoy the soft metallic notes while you water the plants. It's playful, it's soulful, and it gives your garden a voice of its own. Hack 26. Marble-filled fence for light play. If you've got a wooden fence with gaps between the slats, here's a tiny touch that makes a huge visual impact. And it won't cost you more than a handful of glass marbles. Drill small holes randomly across the fence, just slightly smaller than the marbles you'll be using. Then gently press the marbles into place. When the sun shines through, the marbles catch the light and scatter it in bursts of color across your garden. Blues, greens, golds, even soft purples, like little garden gemstones. It turns an ordinary fence into a living kaleidoscope. Quiet during the day, but when the light hits just right, it glows. Place a chair nearby, and you've got your new favorite spot for morning tea or sunset reflections. Hack 27. Rain chain from vintage cutlery. If you've never heard of a rain chain, think of it as a beautiful musical alternative to a boring old downspout. Now imagine one made entirely from mismatched vintage cutlery. Spoons, forks, butter knives, all strung together like silver raindrops. To create one, drill tiny holes in the handles of each utensil, and connect them using metal rings, wire or strong fishing line. Hang the chain where your gutter would typically guide rainwater, or let it fall freely from a porch or overhang. When it rains, water dances down the chain, clinking softly as it moves, like a quiet wind chime made by the sky. Even when dry, it adds a sculptural, slightly whimsical edge to your garden. Industrial meets antique, polished with age and purpose. Hack 28. Fire pit from a washing machine drum. Before you haul off that broken washing machine, check the drum. It might just be your garden's next glowing centerpiece. Washing machine drums are made of metal and already have perforated holes all around, which makes them perfect for air circulation and a beautiful glow when used as a fire pit. All you need to do is clean it up, set it on fireproof bricks or a metal base, and it's ready to go. Light a small fire inside, and the flames will flicker through the holes like a giant lantern. It's perfect for roasting marshmallows, warming your hands on cool evenings, or simply adding a cozy glow to your backyard hangout. The best part, it looks industrial and modern, but it was rescued from the scrap heap, which makes it a conversation starter every single time. Hack 29. Thimble Fairy Village. Sometimes the smallest things leave the biggest impression, and a handful of old sewing thimbles can become the beginning of a magical little world tucked right into your flower bed. Take a few worn thimbles, give them a quick rinse, and place them upside down in a cluster at the base of a tree, nestled among moss, or hidden in a shady corner. You can paint tiny windows and doors on them with weatherproof paint, or leave them as they are, and let the imagination fill in the details. Add a pebble path, a twig fence, or a little sign that reads "Fairies Welcome," and just like that, your garden isn't just a garden, it's a story. Children will be enchanted. Adults will smile, and you'll know that even the tiniest things can make a space feel alive. Hack 30. Bookshelf greenhouse. Have an old wooden bookshelf that's past its prime. It might be ready for its next chapter. As a tiny greenhouse, stand it upright against a fence or wall, seal any cracks with wood glue or caulk, and give it a coat of weather-resistant paint. Then cover the front with a hinged clear panel, acrylic, old windows, or even a cut-to-fit sheet of greenhouse plastic. Now you've got a charming compact space to start seeds, protect delicate plants, or show off your favorite potted herbs. The shelves create perfect levels for different light needs, and it tucks neatly into corners without demanding much room. It's especially great for gardeners with limited space, or those who want to try year-round growing. This isn't just reuse, it's reinvention. Hack 31. Message in a bottle garden wishes. For the final touch, something quiet, sweet and deeply personal. Take a few small glass bottles, old spice jars, mini vases, even perfume bottles, and write tiny garden wishes, or affirmations on scraps of parchment or colored paper. Roll them up, tuck them inside, and seal the bottle with cork, twine or wax. Now hide them around your garden like little time capsules, nestled between stones, resting at the base of a favorite plant, or dangling from branches where they catch the light. They're not meant to be found all at once. They're little surprises, for you, your guests, or even the wind, full of gratitude, intention or humor. One might read "Grow slow, but bloom wildly." Another might simply say, "You are rooted," and that is enough. It's a quiet practice that turns your garden into more than a place. It becomes a feeling. And there you have it. 31 ways to turn the ordinary into something extraordinary, all without breaking the bank. Every chair, spoon, boot, and bottle holds the power to add character, charm and a little bit of magic to your outdoor space. Because here at Timeless Garden, we don't just decorate, we repurpose with purpose. If any of these ideas sparked something in you, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more garden lovers find our little community. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's blooming next. Before you go, drop me a comment. Which hack are you most excited to try? Or maybe you've got your own garden secret you're willing to share. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, keep growing with heart, get a little dirt under your nails, and remember, in a timeless garden, nothing is ever truly wasted.